girl with a preppy vibe. Came to the spot with a friend of mine. She caught my eye. From the beginning, I was hooked. I can't tell a lie. Fresh, dressed, and fly. I respect her mind. Some dude trying to impress, but looking goofy at the same time. He bugging, she looking. I'm going for mine. Confidently, I approach with that eye-to-eye contact. She smiling while adjusting her hair, so I smile back. Pretty girl, what's your name? She said, is that true? Cause if it is, your name perfect for you. My name handsome. She said your name fits you too. See, we was clicking, and after that, time just flew. Then that time came to talk to her pops. He gave his blessing, and then that mind frame I had was honoring and protecting. I knew she was the woman we met. I found my future girl, and no other woman compares to my girl. Yeah, I knew it from the start.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to the check-in. Yes, it is Wednesday already. So much has gone on, y'all. We have a lot to talk about today. Mainly the State of the Union address, because that was a whole thing, okay? We have a Nancy Guthrie update. We also have a little bit of an update on El Mencho and the whole Mexico situation. But yes, y'all, how are y'all doing today? Happy Hump Day. Yes. It is decent weather here in the DMV area. Cannot complain. I had to go into the office today, hence the outfit I got on. I got my clothes on from work today and everything. But yes, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump into it. President Trump had his State of the Union address last night, and it was nothing short of interesting. Okay. He made history with having the longest one ever. Okay. And he had quite a bit to say, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into some highlights of the event, and then we're going to work our way through it. Let's get into it, y'all.
Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement.
Roz, it was so fascinating watching this 1 hour, 47-minute speech. Did the president have any clear domestic messages to the American people? Anything about new policies or new ideas?
Well, not a lot of new policies, but certainly a lot of messaging. As you were saying, this was very much targeted in that very lengthy State of the Union speech at the US voter. And that's with one eye on the fact that the US midterms are really getting closer and closer in the window for him. And he's really wanting to assure US voters that he's doing what he needs to on the economy, that their lives are better. Inflation is behaving, jobs are there, prices are coming down of essential goods. And all of that. And so he's really trying to reinforce that message around affordability. So there was a lot of pep rally type commentary from Donald Trump, a lot of criticism of the Democrats, but not a lot of fresh policies. There were a few nuggets, a bit around getting tech companies to build power plants, for example. The idea is therefore that power prices for everybody might go down, because that's a real concern of US voters, is rising electricity prices. So that there was that. There was a promise that the US government would top up non-employer 401ks to the tune of $1,000 a year, although it's unclear exactly also how that would work. But broadly, it was just about the messaging more than new policy announcements and new promises on the economy. As you were saying, that kind of brash commentary about the US being better, bolder, braver under his watch, and certainly trying to, reassure voters that their lives in particular are going to be better.
Yeah, definitely trying to inject some enthusiasm now. Of course, many of these are live issues. Obviously, the tariffs seem to be changing day by day. And also, Iran. What do we learn on the president's plans for trade, foreign policy and more?
Well, a sense of defiance on trade, but really, again, nothing new, which was quite similar across his entire speech, was, lamenting the Supreme Court's decision in front of some of the Supreme Justices who were sitting there listening to his words. But, again, pushing on with the idea that he's going to use investigations and other mechanisms to try and rebuild some of his tariff regime, that he will come back with other mechanisms to inflict tariffs on other countries, and warning countries don't walk away from the trade deals that we've built, because what could come next could be worse. And that's in line with his messaging in the aftermath of that court ruling. And so again, geared towards the US voters, saying these tariffs have helped you, although, as we know, tariffs generally get borne by importers and passed on to consumers and not ending up in government coffers. And again, foreign policy was a smaller part of his speech, which was obviously by design, and the main messaging around that was, again, to say to US people, the US is stronger around the world. We're using prosperity through peace around the world, touting the conflicts that he says he's ended, saying we're making the world a safer place for Americans. So there wasn't a lot of fresh policy on the foreign side. There was, interestingly though, no mention really in his speech of China, the second biggest economy on the planet, and whose leader he's going to be meeting in March. No mention really of China in the speech, which was quite interesting.
All right, y'all. So we started off with some key takeaways from the event. I was distracted trying to chat with y'all in these comments. We got Orson Leva 3035 in the house. Hey, welcome to the check-in. Saying, wait, it is Christmas. No, wait, she said happy Christmas. Yes, girl, happy Christmas. Yes. Christmas in February. Yes. Then we have Darrell Driggers. Welcome to the live stream. Saying, wait, it is Christmas. It already passed. Christmas was 3 months ago. Yes. I am going to keep my Christmas tree up year round because I like the vibe. Okay. It's with the aesthetic. Yes, it is. At some point, I'm going to do like maybe either a Mardi Gras tree, or Easter tree, 4th of July tree, Halloween tree, Thanksgiving tree. I got plans, y'all. I just ain't put them in action. But for right now, I like how this looks, okay? But yes, y'all, the tree is my co-host, and we a package deal. So we got Mr. Lou and you know it in the house. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for supporting. So yes, y'all, one thing that got my attention with the takeaway from the State of the Union was that increasing electricity costs. I told y'all before that my bill was almost $300. Y'all, my bill is about to be $372. This month. Okay, it's projected to be that, right? So I'm all about hearing what they got to say about these electricity costs needing to go down. Okay, but yes, y'all, I'm gonna get that worked out though. Imagine if I was in a 4-bedroom house, 2-car garage, 2 bath, 2,000 plus square foot home. I may have a $600 electric bill. This is insanity. Okay. So anyway, y'all, one thing to know about the State of the Union last night, it was the longest one ever. Okay. I think he did something similar last year, but it couldn't be called State of the Union. He had not been in his job for a year yet, and he had already kind of made a record with that. So he's all about breaking his own records, basically outdoing himself. But our next video we're gonna look at is like the first 9 minutes of the address, and we're gonna kind of chew on that a little bit. So let me know in the chat if you watched the State of the Union last night. And what were your thoughts? Okay. Did you think that it was a very profound speech? What did you think about all the antics? The lack of participation. Like, what were your thoughts about everything? Put them in the chat, okay? And let's get into this first 9 minute video.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States. Second Lady of the United States. Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America. Gallon for gasoline.
Skip.
Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year.
Yeah, one thing he gonna do is he gonna give you his progress report. So whatever he feels like he has done in his 1 year, as he said, he gonna let you know this is his opportunity to what do we want to call it? It's his opportunity to brag on himself, so to speak. So yes, we should expect that by now because he does that with all his speaking engagements that I've seen. Okay.
And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem while at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that, 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe. Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes. A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest.
Lord, one thing about President Trump, honey, he gonna give you some lines like, he was saying, we're the hottest, we're this. Like he gonna give you that. You gonna know when you need to start clapping for him, okay? What we got here in the comments? So we have what do we have here? We have here in the comments, y'all. I'm using this studio back behind the scene thing for one of the first time. So we have Big Boss Doll G100. Well, hey, he says, I think Black History Month is the biggest most important aspect of our culture and history that affects us as the people. Yes. Yes. I agree. That's right. And I know they say, Black History Month is every month. I get it. But we have our own little month, on the calendar. So we gotta really tune up for that, okay? We got John Russo, 2008, in the house saying, God bless America. Okay. What's interesting, I saw a old video where somebody was heckling Cat Williams and they were talking about, how Arizona used to be a part of the of Mexico and all of that. But to make a long story short, he told the person, if you don't like America, then leave. I thought that was hilarious. We got Lou and You Know It laughing, and we got Big Boss Doll telling me thank you. Lou says, laugh out loud, opportunity to take credit. Exactly. They tell you when you're in the workforce, like, hey, when it's time to do your praise, you gotta make sure you're seeking your own praise so you can get them accolades, because other people ain't gonna always give you your credit. And you gotta make sure that you get what's yours. And that's one thing that the president does. He gonna tell you exactly what he's done. Okay? You're not gonna miss out on that. Then we got Big Boss Dog saying, I think that the State of the Union is the biggest, most important aspect of the United States of America in history. Okay. Honestly, I hardly ever watched the State of the Union in the past, but I am more interested in it now, for whatever reason. But we got Lou saying, laugh out loud, why they gotta show Senator Warren? I don't know. So Big Boss Dog said, okay, let's talk about it. Then Lou said, did he call her Pocahontas this time? Laugh out loud. And I saw that. Cat Williams is hilarious. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. As a matter of fact, I need to see if I can find that video again and play that for y'all. Let me write that down. But yes, y'all. So the next thing we got here is his comment he made about, the United States is winning. Like, he just is people have called it showmanship, right? But he has a certain way he talk, a certain type of cadence, right? And he keeps your attention. Now, I know they were saying he didn't say a lot about policy and all of that, but like I said, he gave you his report card, and he talked about he put some shots out there. He did a little shooting out there a little bit. Lou, and You Know It said, please find that video. I will. But let's go ahead and look at him talking about how the United States is always winning, okay? And yeah, let's do that.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong.
See that?
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. Here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in. I use these tariffs to get.
Let me say this, y'all. So you guys saw he had the male hockey team come to the State of the Union, but you don't see the women hockey team, which I did not know that there was a women's hockey team. That's how far removed I am from the Olympics and all that kind of stuff. So the women's Olympic team won gold before the men's did by several days. And so people are talking about how, well, President Trump, did like a video call with the guys team and invited them to come out to the State of the Union. He was going to send a plane to them and all of that. And then I guess as an aside, he was saying, "Oh, I guess we got to invite the women's team too." So there was a whole lot of controversy about that online as well. So yeah, it was interesting how that went. But the women's team declined to go to go to the State of the Union because they felt like it was an afterthought, essentially. But yes, y'all, let's go into this next item he's talking about here with the tariffs.
Hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself. These people are crazy.
Let me stop right there for a second, y'all. So in this video clip here, you see where he's talking, and I forgot the lady's name. I can't say it. Is it Ilfran? And she's saying that, you killed Americans. That's what she's saying. That's what she's screaming to him in this exchange. And as you saw, he overtalked her. Now, let me just say this. And I just don't believe in people like yelling at you when you're in the middle of giving a speech. I can't support that. Whether you the president or you at your job. Like, I get it. You don't agree with what he's saying. Because I guess that's what he was asking everybody. Hey, if you agree that the American government's responsibility is to the American people and not, the immigrants, please stand. Is what he asked them to do, right? A lot of Democrats did not stand, to my understanding, right? And so I think we all would agree that the American government priority should be to the American citizens. I mean, I think we would all agree to that. What y'all think? Am I looking at this wrong? I mean, I'm American, and this is where I live. So, and this is where I pay all these high taxes and this high electricity too. Okay, so I would assume that we would expect to be taken care of, and considered in this as Americans in this American government. But the people did not stand. There's been a lot of chatter about that on the internet. And then the lady that sat there and was yelling at him while he was talking, and that was a lot. Now, I did see where Miss Nancy Pelosi was saying that in the grand scheme of things, that it really wasn't that big of a disturbance. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in the room, but it seemed disturbing to me, okay? But she was saying it wasn't big of a disturbance. And then, I guess the Democrat leadership had told them, hey, for those who don't want to come, don't come. For those who want to come, then you come, and then you behave in your professional manner, right? And then Pelosi was trying to say, oh, well, I think our Democrats, were, they were in pocket. I was like, I guess I don't know what in pocket is, y'all. Y'all gonna have to help me understand what is in pocket then, because when you got somebody yelling at the president or whoever it is, yelling at the person speaking, and people with signs, that's a whole lot going on, in my opinion. But we're gonna go ahead and keep this going. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Oh, before we go, let me see what we got in the chat first. So we have, let's see, we got Lou saying, okay, yes, the cadence really trips me out, pure comedy. So he's referring to the comment I made about how President Trump, how he speaks. He'll be like, very sad, very sad. Like, he'll make a comment and then he kind of repeat himself lower. Like, he was talking about his dad on one of his in parts of the speech, and he was saying, I had a very good dad. It's like how he talked. Like, and I guess he said it's the cadence of how President Trump's talk. Like, and then it's like when he talked, then they kind of knew, like, okay, you need to clap now. Like, you need to stand up and clap. He done made a point. And I just really would like to know, like, does he have like a a proctor in front of him? Because the way he was kind of flowing with that speech, it's like would not have thought that he had a proctor or he went up the dome. I don't know, but for him to have did the way he did, I think he did pretty good at the top for an hour and 40 something minutes. I know I couldn't do it, but he did that. Um, and he had a lot, and he was talking about different things, like just the sheer things point of sitting there for an hour and some change. He must have had a prompter or something to help him remember the order of the conversation. I'm talking to y'all on this live stream, and I have my little book here with my little notes, so I can remember what the flow is, you know. But yeah, let me keep this chain going. We got Lou, you know what, saying Leopard Line, he got a WWF intro. He did when that man was announcing his arrival. Like, I haven't watched on any State of the Unions, you know, for real in the past. I don't know if that's customary, but I was thinking about coming to America, y'all, when I saw that man announcing his entrance into this space, okay? So we got Lou, you know what, saying now they're gonna show the Supreme Court justices petty, just petty. Then he says, play the Team America World Police theme song. I don't know what that is. And then we got laugh out loud. Yes, there is a teleprompter. Okay, thank you. So let's move on, y'all. I done got caught up with y'all in the chat. We're gonna keep it going with the next part of what he had to say here.
Intelligent. They're crazy. The golden age of America is upon us. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Yeah, my understanding is that he was calling the Democrats crazy when he was talking about they're just crazy because they wouldn't stand up when he asked a question about, you know, the responsibility of the American government, you know, to the American people. So yes, y'all. So we got that going on. But here is a video that shows a little bit more close up and clearly when the lady, I think her name was Ohan, when she was interrupting and yelling at the president, saying, you know, that you killed Americans. So let's get into that. Okay, so we got Lou, you know what, saying he laugh a lot. He speaks of the present and future as if he is reminiscing. I can see that.
So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
That's a long standing ovation. A very long standing ovation. Still going. And still going. This ovation.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay, y'all. So y'all got to see the heckling, if you will, a little bit more close up. So yeah, let me get to the comments. So Big Boss Dog says, why is he bragging so much that he's actually making a mockery of the United States of America? Because the United States of America is for the people, by the people, and for the people. Like I said, one thing he gonna do is brag about what he has done. So that is what he does, from my observation. We got David Schools here. Welcome to the check-in. He's saying they used to yell and heckle with Joe Biden all the time. What's the difference? I did not know that. Like I mentioned before, I never really watched the reunion, never paying any attention to it. So I have no concept as to what was done in the past. But for me, whether despite if you're the president or the cleaning lady or a teacher, I don't think that people should be yelling at you when you're giving a speech, and regardless of who you are and your position. That is my thought process. But as far as Democrats and Republicans being, concerned about heckling, if they both do it, then I don't know why it's a big deal to them. But for me, I just don't support that type of behavior, not in a professional setting. But that's just how I look at it. So we have Big Boss Dog saying this lunatic is crazy. Big Boss Dog is also saying, I don't know how America is going to hold on while this guy is in office. We'll see. We got another 2 years and 12 months, 11 months. The little it says, laugh aloud, because he is basically a combination of Ric Flair mixed with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Laugh out loud. Lord, I hadn't heard of Ric Flair in a long time. But yes, y'all. So she was, saying that he unalived Americans, I guess, by, having the ICE people, in those sanctuary cities and things of that nature. So yeah. But she was the only person that had something to say when it came to giving an opinion. So we had Mr. Al Green escorted out for his sign. So let's get into that. That's him being escorted out, y'all. He had a sign that
And
said,
we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure. Thank you. Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
okay, so what I'm going to show you guys now is Well, let me get to the comments first before we go there. Louis, okay, so we have Big Boss saying, Kamala Harris, baby, girl, we need you on November the 4th. What's going on November the 4th? Is that the midterm elections? Then we have Lou, you know it, saying, laugh aloud, you're going to make me go back and watch the whole thing now. Watch what whole thing? Talking about the State of the Union. That State of the Union, it has some highlights in it. You know, it was something. Let me see, it was something. But yes, I couldn't sit through the whole hour and 45 minutes. I'm on Eastern Standard Time. I have to go to work in the morning, get up at 4:45 in the morning. So I couldn't do it last night, but I've been trying to, get into it, okay? Then we have Big Boss Dog saying that's very true, STEMFashionista. Okay, y'all. So let me show you guys what Al Green had to say in regards to why he took the stand he did in regards to his signage, which said that black people are not apes. Okay. Yeah. We got Baker's Blessing saying it was fabulous. Welcome to the live stream, Baker's Blessing. You're saying that the State of the Union was fabulous. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that I don't guess I should have been surprised that he had the hockey team come out and he was saying how the America was winners. We were winners. And he actually had some American winners come out. Like he had that, timed greatly. The only thing that he could have did differently is he could have played that song All I Do Is Win by T-Pain. Then that would have set it all off. You would have been talking about winning, had the gold winners for hockey with the men's team, and had that winning song playing, and that would have been epic. But I digress. So let's get into what Mr. Al Green had to say about him and that sign. Let's get into it.
As you know, the president has depicted a former president and first lady as apes. The behavior has been declared racist by a good many people. But I don't think the president has really received the message that is unacceptable. He seems to think that he can do these dastardly things with impunity. Tonight, I wanted him to have a person confront him and let him know that black people aren't apes, that black people are not going to tolerate this kind of behavior. I don't speak for everybody, but I speak for people of goodwill who understand that if you tolerate this kind of behavior, you perpetuate it. I refuse to tolerate this level of hate that the president is in fact putting into policy. We must take a stand against this level of invidious discrimination. I wanted him to know and I wanted him to see it and hear it up close. But judging from the expression on his face, he got the message. He saw it, he got the message, and I hope that others will let him have a similar message so that he will discontinue this behavior. Now, there are people who believe that I should not take a stand such as this. There are others who have taken stands, and they too have been vilified. Dr. King went to jail for taking a stand. Rosa Parks went to jail for taking a stand. Sometimes you have to take a stand. Rosa Parks was alone when she was arrested in a racist southern town, but she was there. There are times when it is, on some issues, better to stand alone than not stand at all. I stood alone, but I assure you, I would do it again because he must know that there are people who will take a stand against his insidious behavior.
And let me say this. So y'all know that I want to say, was it last year? During a previous engagement that Trump had, Mr. Al Green got escorted out then too. Do y'all recall that? Let me see if I can remember, if I can find out what it was about that he got put out for. I'm gonna just keep on playing.
Do you think you're standing alone on Capitol Hill?
I believe that there are others who agree with me, but for some reason, they're not ready to do what I do. And I'll not give any reasons to characterize why they choose to do what they do. But I know that there are many who agree with me. I've heard people in private conversations talk about it. And you've talked about it on television. You've seen it yourselves with the various persons who are on these various programs that talk about these kinds of issues, the political programs. So there are other people, but at some point you have to confront him face to face. He needed to see this. He needs to know that there are people who will take a stand against him. He has become a person who assumes that he is beyond the law. He doesn't recognize the separation of powers. He doesn't recognize due process of the law. He doesn't believe that judges can make rulings that are antithetical to his opinions and be right. He assumes that if he says it, it is right, and that might makes right. And if we allow this to continue, he is shredding the Constitution. He goes to war at will without conferring with the Congress. If we allow this to continue, the Constitution will be meaningless at some point. So we have to take a stand now.
What are the consequences for being kicked out 2 years in a row from the State of the Union?
I haven't. The consequences were of no consequence to me. You have to take a stand. The consequences of no consequence, in the sense that I would allow the consequences to prevent me from doing what I believe is a righteous thing to do. Dr. King did not allow the consequences to prevent him from going to Birmingham, and he went to jail. Rosa Parks did not allow the consequences to prevent her from taking a seat on the bus. That's where we are now. We are back to a point where people have to take a stand. I'm just a person who has done it. There are many others, I believe, who would. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Again. Thank you, Congressman.
Congressman, what are you going to do for the rest of the evening? Will you watch
Well, I have
So y'all see the sign, right? Okay, y'all. So that was Mr. Al Green giving his letting us know why he had his sign. Okay. Yeah, so I guess he want to make sure that Trump, is aware that Black people are not apes. And, if you guys recall, we talked about it about a week or so ago, how there was a post made, and at the end of the video, they had a picture of Michelle and Barack Obama faces on apes. And so there's been a lot of stuff going on regarding, that. I think that when they asked Trump about it, he was saying that he didn't watch the whole video, and that they got it taken down as soon as they were made aware of it, and that yeah, he was not issuing an apology, and that's what that was. So yeah, so I feel like Mr. Al Green here is kind of he's making his stand in regards to that. Okay, but let's get into these comments, y'all. So we have okay. So Miss Baker's Blessings says that it was fabulous, the State of the Union. We have Robert Boyd here. Welcome to the check-in. Saying he also said he absolutely did not send goons to stop her from pressing charges. So Robert Boyd, who are we talking about? Fill me in. Who are we talking about? Also, for those who are new to the check-in right now, we're kind of going over some of the highlights from last night's State of the Union address. And I may have some more for us tomorrow, too. We'll see what I can dig up. But that's what we're doing right now. So we have Big Boss Dog saying, I'm with you, Al Green. Okay. Then we got Deborah Galloway, 4318, saying, hello. Hey, welcome to the check-in. Baker's Blessing said, does he really want to talk about what Al Green, perpetuates? I doubt it. And then she says that he is no comparison to MLK Jr. Got you. So I did find, because I was looking earlier, I wanted to find out why was he thrown out last year. Because it did say it was twice. And so what I found is that okay, Representative Al Green, Democrat from Texas. I didn't know he was in Texas. I lived in Texas for almost 10 years. Never knew this man was there. Okay. But anyway, he was removed from the House chamber in March 2025 for shouting protests and interrupting President Trump's joint session address. Green continued to disrupt the speech despite warnings to maintain decorum, resulting in Speaker Mike Johnson ordering his removal. Um, so the key details is that action, Green was yelling in protest during the speech. Result, he was escorted out by security and later faced a motion to censure. Okay, he was escorted out by security and later faced a motion to censure for his actions. Context, it was a part of a series of protests by Democrats against the administration during that time. Okay, then they referenced the incident from last night. It's already in the internet here. Okay, so he was protesting. So we have Big Boss Dog saying, "Black people, African Americans, this is our time. This is our defining moment. We must take a stand against the monster, this dragon known as the POTUS." Then we have Jen Ray, 3918. Welcome to the check-in, saying, "What an idiot." Oh, yeah, we have Lil You Know It saying, "Like, share, comment, and subscribe." Yes, please do that. Help a sister out, y'all. We got Baker's Blessing saying, "Big Boss, you would cut your nose off to spite your face." And then here I go, quoting this man. He said, "The consequences are of no consequence to me." They had some one-liners last night, okay? They did. So we got Big Boss Dog saying, "Black people, we must unite and come together and fight back." Okay. Then we have Baker's Blessing saying, "Grasping." Then we got Bat Vet, welcome to the check-in, saying, "Funny, the apes are the most intelligent animals in the jungle." I didn't know that. Learned something new today. Then we got Lou and You Know It saying, "And the African gray parrots." Okay. And then you have Lou saying he got censured last year. Yes. Yes, he did. Okay, y'all. So what did you guys think overall about the State of the Union yesterday? Like, what did you guys think about it? I mean, I did not see the whole thing. Um, like Mr. Lewis saying, I might go. Well, I tried to watch it, but y'all, it'd be rough. I be trying, y'all. I be trying to watch that. So that's a whole hour, almost 2 hours right there. Okay. But yes, I be trying to watch all this stuff, but I had to give y'all the highlights and the clips. But we gonna get that done. Why is my screen going out? Hold on, y'all. Here we go. So it's not showing me. Okay, okay, now it's loading. Yeah. So what did you guys think about what did you guys think about this State of the Union? Like seriously. Um we got so we have all things Key Nicole saying, "I'm here, Tiff, listening in, baby. I'm trying to keep up and get ready for my birthday." Hey, girl. Hey, all things Key Nicole. Got you here. Glad you're here, girl. Let's see. We got, hold on. So, okay. Well, first of all, I'm glad that you're here. And I hope you have a great birthday, whenever that is. Have a wonderful birthday weekend. So we got Antonio De La Rosa saying, "Wow, I got you unsubscribed." Okay. Well, okay. Okay. That's all I got to say then. He unsubscribed. Okay. Well, I appreciate your support when you do come. Yes. All right, y'all. So y'all ain't got no input. Y'all ain't saying about about the State of the Union went. Okay, well that's fine. So, okay. So we have Lord, you know it saying you can unsubscribe, but please continue to engage. Exactly. Then we got all things Keith Nicole saying, all right, bye. And then Big Boss told all things Keith Nicole, hey Keith Nicole. Yes. So yeah, this is the thing. Um I'm not here to push my perspective on anybody. I want this to be a place where people can, communicate and share their thoughts. Because I'm an adult. So what people say, is it going to change how I fundamentally feel about something, right? And I don't want people to come here and they can't, say what they want to say, right? Just be respectful. So I read what people say, not that I necessarily support what they're saying, but because I'm reading what everyone says. I'm being unbiased, right? So that's kind of how I do. But no, I'm not here trying to push an agenda or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I do here. But I want people to enjoy and feel free to chat, give their perspective, and do what they do. That's it, right? Have a good time. So yeah, we got okay. Lou, it's saying all engagement counts. Yes, it does. And all things Keith Nicole said, like, why you had to type that? Right. And he's been here a few times, so I don't know. Then we got Big Boss Dog saying, I think the State of the Union address was a travesty. Okay. But yeah, so okay, so we gonna move along, right? So I may have some more things tomorrow from on the State of the Union. We'll see what I can find scrum up. But so I don't know if you guys saw, but there was someone in like a speedboat that was approaching Cuba, and they approached the speedboat. The Cubans did, and they say that someone attacked them, right? So they ended up unaliving, I think, 4 Americans in this exchange, right? So let's go ahead and let's get into that. And I see Lou's comment here in the chat, and I'm going to try and do a poll on this question here. Okay, let's get it.
Take a look at this. This is from Cuba's Ministry of the Interior saying, quote, on the morning of February 25th, 2026, a violating speedboat was detected within Cuban territorial waters. The vessel, registered in Florida, United States, approached up to 1 nautical mile northeast of the El Pino Channel in Cayo Falcones. This is in the Villa Clara province, when a surface unit of the Border Guard troops of the Ministry of the Interior carrying 5 service members approached the vessel for identification. The crew of the violating speedboat opened fire on the Cuban personnel, resulting in the injury of the commander of the Cuban vessel. As a consequence of the confrontation, as of the time of this report, 4 aggressors on the foreign vessel were killed and 6 were injured. The injured individuals were evacuated and received medical assistance. And we are continuing to share with you some of the responses we just heard from Representative Espaillat. But take a look at this. This is another representative right here saying the dictatorship in Cuba has just attacked a boat from Florida and murdered those on board. This regime must be relegated to the dustbin of history. So we did want to share with you some breaking news after Cuba says that 4 were killed after a speedboat from Florida entered Cuban waters. We're also keeping a very close eye on all of the Trump administration's social media posts, the president himself and cabinet members to respond to this breaking news. But we did want to share with you, and I'm going to put up that statement from the Cuban embassy from the United States with more of that information, as they have reported that a violating speedboat was detected within Cuban territorial waters. That vessel registered in Florida, United States. They were saying that when a surface unit of the Border Guard troops of the Ministry of the Interior carrying 5 service members approached the vessel for identification. The crew of the violating speedboat opened fire on the Cuban personnel, resulting in the injury of the commander of the Cuban vessel as a consequence of the confrontation. As of the time of this report, 4 aggressors on the foreign vessel were killed and 6 were injured. The injured individuals were evacuated and received medical assistance. So that specific statement is from the Ministry of the Interior via the Cuban embassy in the United States. Any additional information, any other reaction, we will bring it to you right here on Live Now from Fox. We'll be right back.
Interesting. Had y'all heard about that? Trying to get my screen back going. Yes, that is just crazy. Very, very crazy. Yes. So yeah, like I said, they ended up I guess the good thing is that they, I guess they neutralized the threat. Is that the terminology? And then they got, the folks injured some assistance. So I wonder like what happens now. Like, are they still in Cuba? Are they going to be brought back to the United States? Like, what happens with these people that were on that speedboat approaching, the Cuban line there, if you will? So, first of all, before we go back into this, the poll I had before was, did you watch last night's State of the Union? 52% of you guys did, and 48% did watch it. 52% did not. So that's pretty cool. And we have John Tiano here saying it's a time by Across the Bar out soon. Don't know what that means, but welcome to the check-in. We got Lavonda here. Hey, girl. She says, hey, great day, everyone. We have Big Boss saying, can you pull up the acceptance speech by Obama, please? So I can't pull up videos. I have to like record them and then pull them up. So I will have to have that for tomorrow. But what acceptance speech are we talking about? Can you give me a little bit of context on the acceptance speech? Okay, I'm just writing down my notes. Okay, then we have Big Boss Dog message retracted. Lucis, I heard about it. Why they got a rat out their registration number? Laugh out loud. I don't know. Yes. Lou said Lavonda has entered the chat. Yes, she has, y'all. Ascending C3G, welcome to the check-in, says, I believe dolphins or orcas are the most intelligent animals. Okay. We got Big Boss Dog telling Lavonda hello. And then Lou says, I didn't watch it because I wanted to watch it while you were reacting to it. Laugh out loud. Why, thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, yes. Next up, so we have a little bit of an update on so Lou says, that's a good choice. Also, beluga whales. Okay, they got quite a few animals that are pretty smart. Okay. Nice. So we have a little bit of an update here. We have an update on what's going on with the people over there in Mexico. They did lift the shelter in place, but we got a little bit of a little something to talk about when it comes to El Mencho and all of that. Let's get into it.
The U.S. Embassy says shelter-in-place orders have been lifted for Americans in parts of Mexico following a weekend of violence. Jalisco, where drug kingpin El Mencho was killed, is one of several Mexican states still under travel advisories. Its capital, Guadalajara, is set to host World Cup games this summer, and there's already concern the violence could hurt tourism. The Mexican government vowing the World Cup will not be impacted. Now, flights to and from Mexico are resuming, but some that took off today from LAX were only about a third full.
Yeah, while some reconsider their travel plans, others say they're moving forward with their plans despite concerns about safety. We caught up with travelers at LAX.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't have to go to Mexico, I would not be going to Mexico when you got these cartel members, acting a fool over there. Whatever you got going on over in Mexico, you can do it over here in the States. Florida, California, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, whatever. I would not be going to Mexico. When you got people around here protesting their leader being unalived and blowing up, burning cars and trucks and doing all this stuff. Why would you go over there in that environment? But let's see what these people have to say.
At LAX coming from and heading to Guadalajara. One telling us his family in Mexico is staying indoors until the chaos and violence completely
Exactly.
ends.
Near my home, I live in Guadalajara, Mexico. They burn a gas station.
It's very bad. It's very bad. I don't know what is wrong with the people over there.
One traveler we spoke to said he was more afraid to take his family out of Guadalajara and bring them to the U.S., fearing federal immigration agents.
Right? So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't bring my family over here either. I mean, if you're not here legally, you're going to probably get, detained and you won't be in the best conditions. So if you know that you're not here legally, you might as well stay where you are for the most part, right? Because I would not want to be in any of those detention centers. Someone called them old Amazon warehouses. Is what somebody said in something I was watching. But let me see what we got going on here. We have Big Boss Dog saying the one where he accepted the nominee as president of the United States. Nominee as president. Okay. I'll see if I can find that. Then we have Isaiah Pollard here, 1314. Welcome to the check-in. With all these emojis with the sun, the world, the door, the different angels here, the king, a book and a pen. He also has like the solar system, like, volcanoes and spaceships. So appreciate all that engagement, Mr. Isaiah Pollard. Yes. So next we have remarks from Caroline Levitt in her speech to the Mexicans regarding, the United States, regarding the Americans that are over there who couldn't get away. So let's check that out. And she has some other updates on other things too that we may find interesting.
Let's bring in White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt. Caroline, thanks so much for joining us with a preview of the State of the Union. How does the president message, okay, things are better, things were broken when I got into office, I fixed a lot of things, but there's still some growth to do?
Well, you're going to hear President Trump tackle that message head on tonight, and I know he's greatly looking forward to addressing the nation. His speech is going to be a celebration of the 250th year of America's independence. He is going to share the stories of great American heroes who exemplify bravery and the spirit of 1776. And the president is, of course, going to tout his administration's record-setting accomplishments over the past year while laying out an ambitious agenda to continue making the American dream more attainable and affordable for working class people across the country. It's going to be a great speech. There will be some tear-jerking moments, as there was last year, in addition to some moments of levity. And so we hope everybody will tune in.
Yeah, Caroline, what can we expect as far as people in the audience? Because I know every year we see someone special sitting next to the First Lady, and then the president always talks about different stories, and then the cameras zoom in on those individuals. Can you give us a glimpse?
Of course. The First Lady will have two great children with her as part of her Fostering the Future initiative. The president himself has invited some extraordinary guests this year who, again, truly exemplify what it means to be a patriotic American, men and women who have served in our United States military. He'll also be telling the stories of everyday Americans who have directly benefited from his policies. One of them, Megan Hemhauser, who's a waitress from Pennsylvania. She and her husband are directly benefiting benefiting from the president's no tax on tips and no tax on overtime policies, which he, of course, signed into law with the help of Republicans last year. She and her family will be taking home more than $5,000 this tax refund season. Another young woman who she and her husband have been struggling with infertility, but she's now saving $3,500 to purchase the drug for infertility to help create a beautiful family for she and her husband through President Trump's initiative of Trump RX. So he'll be sharing these stories, again, of everyday Americans who are directly benefiting from his policies and making a few new policy announcements as well to continue tackling the affordability crisis that Joe Biden created 1 year ago. And the president will be talking about the positive metrics we have seen and moving forward towards making life again more affordable and prosperous for all Americans.
So that's gonna be interesting. We'll see if Democrats respond to anything except for holding up pop sticks with little signs on them like last time, which was truly embarrassing, I think, for them. Hakeem Jeffries seems to be going out of his way to say either leave or just sit there quietly in his own partisan way. But the other big story is the CIA evidently aiding the Mexican government in taking down a key drug kingpin whose specialty was fentanyl to America. So we all should be applauding this. But American tourists right now stuck in Mexico, here's some of what they're saying.
The day before, everybody was telling us how safe Puerto Vallarta is and how this area was really safe. So it's just, I think, an unfortunate turn of events that apparently a part of Mexico that folks thought was very safe.
Across the street is a gas station, and there's cars parked sideways throughout the road. There's about 6 cars on the road, 4 cars in the road and 2 cars next to the road in the parking lot, and they were all on fire.
You're seeing a war zone behind you, and we've got people come back to the hotel before all this happened saying, do not go out. There's cars on fire. So right then hey, I'm not leaving, I'm stuck here. And there's no way out. They closed the airport. So we're stuck.
Caroline, and a cover of the New York Post, War in Paradise. This is all new. It's breaking in 24 hours. What can you tell those people? Can we get them out?
Secretary Rubio and the State Department are absolutely on it. We hear from Americans directly who are in Mexico because the State Department immediately set up 24/7 phone lines, and they're taking hundreds of calls a day, providing Americans on the ground with travel support and advice. The State Department also has issued new travel advisories, and they'll continue to update those as the situation progresses. So we encourage all Americans in Mexico to, of course, adhere to the guidance provided by the State Department. Right now, we are unaware of any reports of any Americans being hurt, kidnapped, or killed, and the Mexican drug cartels know not to lay a finger on a single American, or they will pay severe consequences under this president. And they already are. This operation, which was carried out successfully by the Mexican authorities, was, of course, supported by the United States, would not have happened without the leadership of President Trump. He has made it a day one priority to target and go after these vicious drug cartels that have shipped deadly poison to our country for far too long. He signed an executive order to rightfully designate them as foreign terrorist organizations. We've seen the president take unilateral lethal action against drug boats sailing through the Caribbean. And now, of course, we are coordinating and cooperating and pushing the Mexican government to do more to end the scourge of deadly drugs coming through our United States southern border, which, of course, is now secure thanks to President Trump as well.
Yeah, Caroline, I don't think y'all have seen any snow. I don't see any behind you. But up here in the Northeast, we've been battling these blizzards, and a lot of people are left without power.
So did any of you guys get impacted by the snow earlier this week? We got snow up here in the DMV, but not like how they had it in New York with the nor'easter. I was told it was like what 10 to 14 inches, something like that. Hopefully you guys are safe and sound and warm if you did get impacted by the snow.
Hundreds of thousands because they live in the Northeast, and that's just part of the deal. What do you say to the families that are hurting? What would be the president's message to them?
The Trump administration is on it. We know that FEMA is out on the ground working with state and local authorities, and they will continue to do so, although it's very unfortunate FEMA continues to be defunded right now because of Democrat politicians here in Congress. So if you're an American hurting and suffering from this storm, we suggest that you call your Democrat congressmen and women and senators and encourage them to reopen the Department of Homeland Security so that these great FEMA workers who are helping you turn your lights back on can get the paychecks that they deserve. But nevertheless, this important work will continue and will continue to be there for Americans who need help as the conditions get better.
All right, Caroline Levitt, thank you so much for the preview.
Yeah, I forgot all about the furlough still going on for Department of Homeland Security. I mean, I think they'll miss their first check sometime next week. So this is going to be interesting. I mean, are they even having discussions about what they're going to agree to in order to get these folks back funded and back to work getting paid? My goodness, that'll be their third furlough in less than a year. In less than 6 months, actually. Wow, what we got here? So I talked about Big Boss Dog about the volume. I think we're good on that. So yeah, so from the poll we just did, like what's the most intelligent animal? 44% said the ape, 31% said the African gray parrot, 25% said they have no idea. I'm in that 25%. Let's see. We have someone saying, laugh out loud. Now, Nate Burleson is interviewing the White House press secretary. Laugh out loud. This guy is literally everywhere. He said, I think, he thought that was Nate and then said, well, no, that's not him. Okay. Then we have, Lou says, yes, I'm going, but not anytime in the near future. Gotcha. Big Boss says, no, not me. I'm down here in West Palm Beach, Florida. Nice. All Things Kenny Cole says, the poll got me crying, laughing. You going, Tiff? Girl, not no time soon. I got to know I can come home. I don't need to be going nowhere. And then they talking about, we done did something. We don't have the airplanes flying here right now. I can't be in that situation. So we got Big Boss Dog saying, hey, Key Nicole, it's me, Big Boss Dog. And then she's saying, why am I just not finding out what happened in Mexico? Because you've been planning for your birthday. All Things Key. You've been in birthday mode, okay? Now, y'all, I want y'all to really pay attention to this next one because this is a video of El Mincho, the gentleman that was the head of the cartel. This is a video of him talking to somebody who I believe is in the Mexican police. Now it's in Spanish, but you got to look at the on-screen words, okay, to see what he's saying, and listen to how this man is talking to the police. This El Mincho. But yes, for those who don't know, the Mexican government unalived. They caught El Mincho. He was unalived, and then all of his members of his cartel, they cut the fool out there, burning up cars, just doing all kind of stuff. So the airlines said they went flying to Mexico, and the U.S. Americans who was there had the shelter in place. Okay, it was quite a time. But I want you guys to listen and watch the screen so you can see what El Mincho is saying to these Mexican policemen. Okay, let's get into it. It's insane.
Delta 1. Hey, ¿quién habla? Mira bien, hijo de tu puta madre. Soy Mencho, güey. Relaja tu puta gente a la verga. Soy Mencho, güey. Relaja tus putas partidas, si no te voy a partir tu madre a ti toda tu bola de perros. Te tengo identificado 30 güeyes. Hasta tus putos perros te voy a matar si no te relajas, güey. ¿Cómo ves?
Ya está, señor, ahorita los bajo.
Oh, no cuelgues, hijo de la verga. Te tengo ubicados en Chacala, güey.
No le estoy colgando, le estoy diciendo ahorita los bajo.
Póngase bien las pilas, güey. ¿Qué se le cuesta ser amigo, cabrón? ¿Uno no se mete con ustedes para que se pasen de verga?
No, señor, ahorita yo se las bajo.
Pongan, revíremeles a todos los hijos de su puta madre porque todos agarran dinero y son buenos de puercos.
Sí, es lo que me están
¿Se me
diciendo. Que
ponen a tiros o tú eres el primero que vas a marchar por ellos, León?
No, señor.
¿Vale?
No, señor, no se trata de eso.
Váyanse a la verga porque aquí los vergazos están al 220, ya se la sabe. Y miedo no hay.
No, señor, no se trata de eso. Ahorita yo lo sabía.
Entonces, si quiere amistad, aquí va a tener un amigazo, cabrón. Si no, a chingar a su madre a la verga.
No, yo sé, señor.
Ya estoy hasta la verga de que no entiendan, loco.
Señor, usted me conoce, usted sabe que yo soy amistad.
Pues por eso me extraña, cabrón. Yo te entiendo, güey, pero pues no mames, yo sé que tienes gente y la familia de chingada. Verga, póngase las putas pilas.
Yo lo sé, señor. Nada más
No
aquí-
quiero que me apagues este puto teléfono. Después te voy a marcar, güey. A ver si no se relajaron a la verga, ¿eh?
No, ahorita le voy a marcar.
A todos en general, güey. Relájenmelos a la verga, por favor.
Ahorita le voy a marcar de otro número a este número que me está marcando.
No, este ya no le vuelvas a marcar. Yo le marco cuando yo pueda.
Ándale, pues.
Pero no me lo apague porque lo voy a entender como negatividad.
No, señor, ahorita le mando un mensaje de otro número para que me marque los...
Órale, pues, Melón, ahí les quiero eso, que se relajen a la verga.
Sí, señor, usted me conoce, usted sabe que hay respeto y hay... Nada más
Ya
aquí...
está, igualmente, de aquí para allá también. Ahí disculpen por las malas
Nada más
palabras.
que aquí los muchachos son los que están allá y ahorita yo se los saludo.
Ahora pues, ahí le encargo.
Ándale, señor.
Ahí relájenmelos a todos, dígale que va de parte mía.
Claro que sí, señor.
Ya está.
Ándale.
So y'all saw that? Y'all saw how El Mincho was talking to them like the guys like, oh yeah, well I'll tell them. I mean, he's telling the Mexican government they need to back off. They need to back off. They need to stand down basically. And then the guy like, oh well, let me call him. That man said if you cut your phone off, I take that as disrespect. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. That this man was like calling the police. Like, I know, he know these people. Like, okay, when they be talking about how these cartels supposed to be having people on the inside, that's what they talking about. What we just saw on this clip right here. So, what y'all saying here in the chat? We have okay, all things Kid Nicole saying, why was she just finding out about the thing in Mexico? Okay, she said, okay, did you know they have cartel in every state? I did not know that. Big Boss Dog said, why isn't anyone talking about the wave that hit Jamaica? So all things Key Nicole said, I was reading a news article. I had not heard about the wave in Jamaica. It has not hit my it hasn't hit any of my socials. But Lou says that because you haven't told us about it, Big Boss, that tell us about the wave. All this Key Nicole said, you pigs. Lou says this man was respectfully angry and then apologized at the end. Laugh out loud. What is going on here? That's El Micho. That's how he do it. Big Boss Dog said, yeah, Jamaica was hit by a massive tidal wave and they lost their homes and had no power. My goodness. Lou said, was it an unexpected weather event or something caused it? Big Boss Dog said they have search and rescue to find any survivors. Oh my goodness. That is awful. I'm gonna look that up. That's awful right there. But speaking of awful, we do have an update from Miss Savannah Guthrie. Her mom is still not found yet. So she uploaded a video on Instagram, trying to, I guess, try to compel whoever may know information to to share it. So, it's kind of sad, y'all, but we're gonna go ahead and get into that.
Hi there. I'm coming on to say it is day 24 since our mom was taken in the dark of night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony since then, of worrying about her and fearing for her and aching for her, and most of all, just missing her, just missing her.
So sad.
We know that millions of you have been praying. So many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return, and we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. Still believe that she can come home. Hope against hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves and is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and with her beloved brother Pierce and with our daddy. And if this is what is to be, then we will accept it. But we need to know where she is. We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information that leads us to her recovery. So please, if you hear this message, if you've been waiting and you haven't been sure, let this be your sign to please come forward, tell what you know, and help us bring our beloved mom home so that we can either celebrate a glorious, miraculous homecoming or celebrate the beautiful, brave, and courageous and noble life that she has lived. Please be the light in the dark. Thank you.
Oh, that's just so sad. That is so sad. I guess they are starting to come to terms that they may not, that her mother may not come back, or be returned, in a lively state. So sad. Um, I want to say it's been over 20 days now that she's been missing. So as you guys know, we talked about it before. They had found some DNA inside of the home. There's been a lot going on with this case to an extent. It's been a lot, but not a lot, if that makes sense. But they were saying that the investigators were back at the house this afternoon doing more searching. That was one thing. Then they were saying that the images that we were told were like of the night that she got abducted, that they may have been from an earlier time. So it's a lot going on with this case. So I don't know, y'all, but we have big boss dog is saying, I need y'all to pray for me and my family, because my god brother Jasper passed away a year ago in an 18-wheeler truck fire. So please pray for me. Thank you. Will do. Sorry for your loss with your god brother. Lou, you know what, saying horrible situation. Sorry to hear that, big boss. So he says after his passing, I just feel like I'm losing my mind. Oh, I'm sure. Okay, so we next have a little bit more insight regarding that update on the DNA. So let's get into that.
I bring you this, a Fox News alert. Savannah Guthrie posting a very heartbreaking video this morning on the search for her mother, Nancy. And she is now offering a new $1 million reward. Let's go to Max Gordon. He is outside Nancy Guthrie's house today for an update. Hi, Max.
Hey there, Dana. Well, several new updates on the case today. There are now questions about the timeline of when everything happened in this case. Savannah Guthrie posting that new heartbreaking video this morning, and then new information on the DNA evidence that was found inside Nancy Guthrie's home. According to two federal law enforcement sources that spoke to Fox Digital, the DNA samples from the home came back to people who had reason to be there, and then one partial sample yielded a result that couldn't be checked by the FBI's CODIS database. This comes as a source close to the investigation tells Fox Digital the suspect caught on Guthrie's doorbell camera may have shown up before her disappearance. The Pima County Sheriff's Office has called this speculation, saying all the photos released by the FBI were from February 1st, the day Nancy went missing. But according to the source cited by Fox Digital, one of the images released to the public was taken on a different date. And then this morning, Savannah Guthrie released another heart-wrenching video. In it, she acknowledged that her mother may not be found alive and pleaded for anyone with information on Nancy's whereabouts to come forward, announcing that the family would pay up to $1 million for information leading to her recovery.
Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home.
It is now day 24 of the search for Nancy Guthrie. Law enforcement still hasn't named a suspect or a reason for her disappearance. Dana, back to you.
No, well, we do heed the call to prayer, Savannah. Thank you, Max. We'll be keeping a close eye on all of those developments.
Click here.
All right, y'all. That's the update on Miss Guthrie. So, like Lil, you know, it said he's gonna keep hope alive. I am gonna do the same thing. I really do want this lady to be returned whole. I really do. I want all people who are missing to be returned whole. And that kind of goes into this next story. There was a lady that went missing about 20 years ago, and they just found her recently. So I'm not going to tell y'all much about it. I want y'all to listen to this, and you tell me what you think when this is done. I'm going to probably cut it out and chat a little bit, but yes, there is hope. 20-some years later, they found this lady. And guess what she had to say?
It was just after 8:30 at night on December 9th, 2001, when mom of three, Michelle Hunley Smith, said goodbye to her children, ages 19, 14, and just 7 years old. She said she was going Christmas shopping at Kmart about 17 miles away, a routine trip. Michelle left her home in Eden, North Carolina, driving a green 1995 Pontiac Transport van, and she never made it home again. And it wasn't until 22 days later, on December 31st, New Year's Eve, that Michelle's husband reported her missing. The Rockingham County Sheriff's Office then launched a search with multiple agencies, including the FBI. They combed the route between Eden.
Let me say this. It took that man 22 days to report that his wife was missing. 22 days? 22 days.
Martinsville, Virginia. This is where the Kmart was located. Found nothing. And despite years of investigation, no trace of Michelle or her van was ever found. The case went cold. Michelle's children grew up wondering, did she have an accident? Was it foul play? Did she simply walk away? And then last week, detectives suddenly get fresh new information about the case. They follow up, and on February 20th, they announce they found her, Michelle Hunley Smith, alive, now in her 60s, living a whole new life somewhere in North Carolina. She's safe. And then comes the part that no one expected. At her request, police are not sharing her location, and she does not want contact with her family, has asked for privacy. I'm joined now by Sheriff Sam Page with the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office to talk more about this. Thanks so much for taking the time. Any idea, did she give you any idea about why she left her family?
Well, I did have some information pertaining to that. Is when she was located, she was asked that basic question, and she said apparently there were some ongoing domestic issues at the time that she departed. She left on her own accord, but it was a reference to some ongoing domestic issues.
Is that something that you were able to corroborate?
At this point in time, we're not aware of any domestic calls or anything that I can be advised of that I can relate that occurred prior to her departure.
But let me say this. They may not have been aware of any domestic calls that were called in around her departure, but the fact that her husband took 22 days to report her as missing, that says a lot, in my opinion.
Did
But
she?
it looks like go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
I apologize. I interrupted you.
No, I'm just saying, it looks like apparently she left on her own accord, but she did reference to domestic related issues.
Did she explain how she would be able to leave her children behind despite that or not contact them?
I don't think we had a lot of information on that at this point. I don't think we had a lot of information.
How was she found exactly?
Well, I can't tell you exactly how she was found. Well, if I can just go into a little bit of detail, is when this case first started unfolding, we reached out to the FBI, different law enforcement agencies in Virginia and North Carolina, the State Bureau of Investigation from North Carolina, the DEA, and we started putting a lot of information out there and also their databases. We work with the NCIC, the National Crime Information Center, and we share a lot of information across the country. And a lot of times with that information we put in, if somebody runs across a vehicle, runs across a tag, runs across a name, or if somebody's found a body's found DNA information, we have that available. And a lot of times that helps us to solve these cases. On this particular case, we hadn't got any information or anything. It went basically cold at that point. But any leads that we had available, we worked diligently. But on February 20th, information actually came in on the 19th to one of our dispatchers and relayed that to the chief investigator. They assigned the two detectives to follow up on this information, and they located Michelle Hunley Smith, in another county within North Carolina.
Two questions for you.
Yes,
Any
sir.
idea what she's been doing? And two, how was she able to avoid being found?
I don't have that information, and again, a lot of times people just can't just drop off the planet, But we do track all information, but sometimes people avoid certain things to avoid identification, and it can happen.
Does she have? I mean, can you tell us? Does she have a whole other family, children?
The only thing I can tell you is from our position at this point is that she was located. She was located safe.
Okay.
There was no foul play in her going missing. She left on her own accord. She has relayed to us at this point is that it was domestic related issues leading up to her departure. Right. And her husband at the time and children knew that she was going to shopping around Christmas time or before Christmas time, but shortly before. And she was going up to to Martinsville, Virginia, which is 17 miles away. And all those areas were checked. And, and nowadays with the technology we have now, we have license plate readers in different locations around different states and different locations. So those types of technologies could have been beneficial, I think, if we'd had them in place then. But a lot of things have moved forward in the past 24 years, of course.
100%.
That's right.
100%.
But I will say this, hard work by the detectives, sharing information, and every tidbit of information they could get out there and following up on those leads does make a difference on these cases. And this information, I would just say, came forward because some of that information clicked,
right,
and we were notified. It came back to the originating agency, which was the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. Our investigators got out there.
So Sheriff, I have a limited time. I want to ask you real quick as we're looking to see if we'll get more information. Is she going to be charged at all, criminally charged?
I spoke with the district attorney today. And the district attorney advised me that she was informed about this case, where this person has been missing for 24 years. She has requested a formal review of this investigation, our district attorney has, to determine if charges will be forthcoming. So that's kind of where we're at on that conversation.
And do you know whether or not she lied to law enforcement, misled law enforcement, anything of that nature? I guess maybe be
the only comment is kind of what I can release it to you at this point. Okay. So again, the district attorney will be reviewing the full information from the report, full case review, and then with our detectives, and then if charges are forthcoming, we'll be advised on that.
All right.
I appreciate everybody's hard work on this case. It means a lot when your team puts it together and can bring closure in some respect, but it also brings back up a lot of emotions also.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it's incredibly difficult for the family, and great police work. Sheriff STEMFashionista, thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all. What y'all think about that story right there? This lady been missing for 20-some years, And they done found her in North Carolina chilling. Let me look online real fast to find out. Okay, so what would you be charged with? I mean, they spent a lot of resources trying to look for her for 20 years. So I'm sure it's related to financial. Let's see. Let's see. What would you charge a missing person with for going missing intentionally? Let's see if I can come up with something for that. So it says an adult who intentionally goes missing without evidence of foul play or being in danger generally cannot be charged with a crime, as voluntarily leaving is not illegal. While not criminal, such actions can lead to civil consequences, such as in child custody cases or in cases involving financial fraud, such as faking a death to claim insurance. So it says that no crime committed. Adults have the legal right to walk away from their lives, cut off contact, and go voluntarily missing. Exceptions for the charge: if the person went missing to escape prosecution, committed fraud, or filed a false police report, they could face criminal charges related to those actions. So, police response: if a person is found safe and is an adult, law enforcement will usually close the case and they are not legally required to disclose their location to family. If the disappearance was staged to avoid legal obligations or cause distress, authorities may look into the underlying motives for potential criminal acts. So, I guess they're going to be looking into this disappearance for that particular reason there. But yeah, so they found her 20 some years later, and she do not even want to, make contact with the 3 kids that she had. Okay. So we got Tyrone Thompson saying, fleeing and evading. Smooth Will said, peace tip. Hey, Smooth, welcome to the live stream. Oh, yes. Thank you, Lewis. And you know it. Yes, please like, share, comment, subscribe if you are here hanging out. But yes, y'all, we have talked about the State of the Union, the highlights, if you will. We have talked about El Micho. We got our update on Miss Nancy Guthrie and the situation unfolding in Cuba. So, y'all, we have been on for an hour and 36 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and close us out. Tyrone Thompson said it's a moral issue. Yes. I'm going to close this out. I'll be back tomorrow, 7:15 Eastern. You all have a great day. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.